in the last few minutes, the UK's mass vaccination programme against coronavirus has begun.
This is Margaret Keenan, who you can see there. She is 90. She's 91 next week, actually. She was the first person to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech jab at the University College Hospital in Coventry. That's one of 70 hospitals around the UK which will be giving the vaccine to over 80s and some health and care staff. The Prime Minister has called it a huge step forward in the fight against the disease. This
is quite a moment. This, as you can see, is the first person in the UK to receive the vaccine. Margaret's been a patient at Coventry Hospital. As Dan said, she's 91 next week. She's told staff this jab feels like an early birthday present. The nurse delivering the jab, you can see there, is matron May Parsons, and that has just happened within the last few minutes. These pictures that we're bringing to you have just come into us here this morning. Margaret, of course, she's known as Maggie. Happy to share this moment with the rest of the world. It's quite a special moment, actually, isn't it? So, as Sally was saying, it's her birthday next year. She was born in Enniskillen. She's lived in Coventry for 60 years. She worked in a jewellery shop, local jewellery shop, until she was in her mid-80s. But this is all part of the largest ever vaccination programme across the NHS. And the aim is to start with Maggie, but for millions of us to be vaccinated against coronavirus. She will, of course, because of the jab she's having, she will have another jab 21 days from now. So what we've seen there is just the moment that Maggie got the first injection of the vaccine. 2 doses, as we know, need to be administered, one today and another one in 21 days' time. And like many other people across the UK, Maggie's been self-isolating for most of the year, and she says she's planning on having a very small family bubble at Christmas to keep safe. We can actually go now live to our health correspondent, Catherine Burns, who is at that hospital where Maggie has received that first jab this morning. Catherine, this feels like a pretty important step forward for all of us.
Do you know, it really does. I think here today in Coventry we've seen a real moment of history. The first patient in the world outside of clinical trials to get this vaccine against coronavirus. And this has come after 60,000 deaths. This couldn't have come soon enough. So like you said, Margaret Keenan, she was wheeled into the ward. She's in hospital for tests. She was wheeled into the ward about 6:15, and then at 6:29 she became the first person to have this Pfizer vaccine. She says it was the best birthday present she could have asked for, and she says if she can have the vaccine at 90, then everyone else should have it as well.
The world's first sort of vaccination.
Thank you very much for that this morning. So we'll be having plenty more from University College Hospital in Coventry. And if you just switched on, that's Maggie Keenan, who we've been watching this morning, who is 90 years old, and she has been given the very first vaccine in the UK this morning.
Just a little bit more about the vaccine that she has had. We know that 800,000 doses of the vaccine have been delivered. That's enough for 400,000 people, of course, because this is the one where you have one jab and then another one in 21 days' time. And we don't know yet when more doses of the vaccine will arrive from Pfizer's manufacturing plant. But that moment that we've just brought to you there feels like something, doesn't it?
It does feel quite significant, doesn't it? And hospital hubs now around the country have got possession of the vaccine, and they'll start vaccinating over 80s, care home staff and health workers. This is the first wave of the programme. If you just switched on BBC Breakfast this morning, the 2 women that you're watching there are matron May Parsons on the right, who's giving the first coronavirus vaccine, to Maggie Keenan, who's smiling behind the mask, wearing a Christmas T-shirt. She's 90 years old. It's her 91st birthday next week. And she's in University Hospital in Coventry this morning, receiving the very first coronavirus vaccine in the UK.
And, you know, these are pictures that will go all over the world, I imagine. Certainly, you know, we here in the UK, we are the first Western nation to administer this vaccine. Maggie is very happy for her picture to be taken and has agreed to do this. She actually had the vaccination just around 6:30 this morning. And, you know, she's been checked out by everybody. She is well, feeling fine. You can see her having a chat to the matron there. We saw her being prepared for the injection. Very calm, very happy. And as Dan said, she's saying this is like an early birthday present. She is 91 next week, and until only just a couple of years ago was working in a local jewellery store. She's been living in the Midlands for the last 30 years, originally from Enniskillen, but very much settled in the Midlands now, and expecting a quiet family Christmas. And she's been shielding, like lots of people.
Yeah, like many people. And I suppose in terms of numbers, you'll know that there's 800,000 doses of the jab have been delivered. That's enough to vaccinate 400,000 people. But it's unclear as to when the rest of those vaccines will actually arrive. And that's one of the questions which we're going to be putting to the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, who's going to be live on Breakfast at 7:30 this morning.